Hey everybody, Brian from Bear Bull Traders here. It is the weekend, March the 9th, and this, of course, the weekend video. We'll go over what happened last week in the market, and then we'll take a look ahead, what we got coming up this week, CPI and PPI data. I had a lot of trades that I outlined last week. A lot of them worked out pretty well, and we'll go over those as well. So let's get down to it. Okay, so a quick review of what happened last week, March 4th. Some pretty volatile price action on Friday with some of the stocks. The semis that have just been on a tear like AMD and NVIDIA really pulling back hard on Friday after pushing to all-time highs. We did have the jobs report that came out on Friday. Stronger than expected payroll growth, but wage growth was moderate, which was a good thing. So kind of a mixed bag there. And unemployment rate kind of ticked up a bit, 3.7 to 3.9 was the number, so a little bit more unemployment. And then, of course, we had Powell speaking in front of Congress for 2 days, and his message was pretty much what he's been saying all along: no rate cuts coming yet, no signs of a recession, and they need more data to confirm inflation is under control before they are going to start cutting rates. But he did say that they did expect to start. They were going to start cutting rates later in the year. No date, obviously, but sort of a positive note there on possibility for rate cuts in the near future. And as you can see here on the week, we did hit new highs on the Qs and SPY, but we had a pretty significant pullback on Friday. Small caps did manage to eke out a gain on the week, but you can see here the technology sector, the one that took the biggest hit here, particularly on Friday. Utilities, basic materials, biggest gainers. Consumer discretionary, communication services, again, losers on the week in terms of sectors. Treasuries down a bit again. Of course, some of the comments on Powell's comments, and of course some of the jobs data that may be a little bit weaker than expected. So we had a drop in yields. And of course, corresponding drop in U.S. dollar strength because of that. And Bitcoin was the another big story on the week here, and we'll take a look at that chart in a minute. But it really broke out this week. That's up another roughly 10% from previous week. So Bitcoin fans are really enjoying a nice run here, and I think some of the other altcoins are also, of course, catching a bid as well. All right, and before we continue on here, as always, I'd like to do a quick plug for my books on Amazon. There they are: How to Swing Trade, Profiting as an Active Trader, and my latest one, How to Trade Options. Of course, it was down in Las Vegas on Friday, doing a talk on trading options for a living. And good news for people that were waiting for the audio version of the How to Trade Options book. It was reviewed and approved on this week, Wednesday. So it is available in all formats, audio, and of course, hard copy or paper copy if you want to pick that up. But there's my books. They're all on Amazon and available for you to check out if you're interested. And now let's get down and look at some charts. Okay, so let's start out by taking a look at some indexes here and our yields, which I always like to keep an eye on because they are the bigger market. And so, of course, you can see here we're kind of rolling over a little bit on the yields on the 2-year. You're going to see the same thing on the 10-year, which is a good thing for stocks, obviously, and probably indicating maybe we're going to get some easing later in the year in terms of rate cuts. But again, going in the right direction, maybe a bit of a lower high here. So we've got a high and now came back up and now a lower high. So kind of looking for this to roll over and maybe go under 4% again, hopefully on the 10-year. Transports, bit of a choppy week here. You can see not much direction one way or another. Of course, transports are the sort of canary in the coal mine in terms of what the economy is doing. So you can kind of see here we're narrowing into a pennant and waiting for a break one way or another, or just maybe more consolidation sideways. The Dow, again, kind of a choppy week, ended up down on the week just slightly, but again, we're sort of in a consolidation phase. You can see here no big pullbacks, but just definitely not enough energy to go higher. You can see momentum's kind of coming out of the market here with some of these indicators. You can see the stochastics kind of rolling over, really overbought. both from an RSI, MACD, and stochastics perspective. So I'm expecting a bit more choppy sideways action, maybe a bit more of a pullback here as we sort of move along. And again, the Q is kind of a choppy week here. Did end up down on the week. Let's see here, but still ensconced in a uptrend. You can see here we really haven't broken down yet, but again, RSI, we've been pretty oversold. We had a pretty big volume day here on Friday in terms of a down day, and you can kind of see again all these indicators, momentum indicators, we really are overbought. And the SPY, sort of same story. I don't want to keep repeating myself here. We are still in an uptrend, but a bit of a pullback there this week, and indecision candle basically on the SPY here for the week last week. And the IWM, again, we did kind of break out of this this 200 level, this critical 205, which was prior resistance here and here. Kind of chopped around it, tried to break out of it, and really kind of pulled back on Friday with a bit of a market sell-off. But we have broken out here, but it's looking a little tenuous with this sort of indecision doji, call that. Momentum is still to the upside. Stochastics showing we're still pretty overbought here in terms of how far we've come up here from this bottom. So again, maybe some more sort of backing and filling, taking some time to consolidate. The VIX kind of trending up here a little bit. You know, you're seeing a series of higher lows. Again, we had a bit of a volatile day, came well off the highs of the day, but you know, we're kind of inching our way up here. Momentum is going up as well. So yeah, like I said, maybe a little bit more volatility, a bit more back and filling. And you can see here we really rolled over on the US dollar here. Big failure right at this prior high, and now we're maybe coming back down here to test this this moving average, this 50-day moving average. But the dollar looking a little weak, and maybe that's an indication that yields might be dropping as well. So here's your Bitcoin number, 68, almost 500 now. It's just continues to rip higher. A lot of it did get to 70,000 on the week. Just I think it just touched a little bit over it. Let's see what it ended up at. Yeah, 70,151. Amazing breakout here from this this level of consolidation. And I'm not trading Bitcoin, but I am in Ethereum. I thought Ethereum was a good trade because those are the next probably that next coin to get an ETF. So that's it. Let's take a look at some charts that we're going to be interested in this week, and maybe go over some trades that I did last week. Apple, I've been shorting this. I've been shorting the calls. So previous week, 2 weeks ago, I shorted the 185s when we started to roll over. This week, I shorted the 180s. Again, both times those options expired worthless. I kept the premium. And now I'm looking at Apple thinking, well, maybe we are starting to get to a point where we actually might bounce a little bit. So Apple was up on Friday despite the sort of tech sell-off. You can see here we're kind of turning the corner here on stochastics. You can see what happens when it happened before. We get this nice move up. We are still pretty much in a downtrend on Apple, but maybe I won't be selling. I won't be doing any call selling this week just because it looks like it might be trending higher. I might actually look at selling puts as long as this sort of 170 area looks like it might hold here. So we'll see what the premiums are. I'm looking like that on Monday. Airbnb, this was another one I really liked last week. I mentioned it in the video. Broke out. I was short the 160 calls and long a bit of the stock as well. So it's been breaking out nicely here from this prior level. So the calls, the puts expired worthless. I was short the puts, which is essentially a long trade. They expired worthless. AMD, big move on Friday. Wow, AMD and NVIDIA. Big reversal after this gap and go up. Had an incredible move higher right at the open, and then just pulled back on some pretty massive volume here. So probably due for another little pullback here. We are pretty overbought on AMD. I still think the AI and story is intact. I mean, this was some, profit taking, obviously, on a Friday. So that was it. Boeing, not much to say about this because I've been going over my last videos. I was long the 240 calls. I bailed on them when it just kept doing this. And I'm still short the 260 calls, which is essentially a short trade. And they just keep gaining in value as they get closer to expiry. And I'm just going to let them expire worthless. I'm just going to let them expire worthless, yeah. Anyway, the wheels are coming off Boeing, literally. If you saw that video of the wheel coming off the United flight. Ethereum, this is one I've been talking about for quite a while. Got in back here. It had a beautiful run. It's just had an amazing run. This is probably my best swing trade of the year so far. Still in that. Gold had a really nice move. I got in early, sort of a little bit early in the week with some Canadian gold mining stocks, and after this break of trend, and it seems to be moving up with Bitcoin. Google, again, I've been shorting Google, and now this week I went long. I went long by shorting puts. I actually had a risk reversal on, which was shorting. I shorted the 132s. Puts, and I took that money and I bought 134 calls. Unfortunately, I didn't really like the way it started trading after I did that trade, so I took the 134 calls off because I thought they were going to expire worthless. Unfortunately, they wouldn't have, but I still held the 132 puts thinking the bottom was kind of in here, and they expired worthless, so it was half a profitable trade. Honestly, kind of looking at this one, there's been some big insider buying on it. It's a quantum computing play. It had a big reversal here on Friday, but I might look at picking up somewhere around $10 or just under 10. The person who was doing the buying has also been involved with Broadcom. He's a director from Broadcom. So anyway, that's that one. Meta, I was long some Meta, and then I sold it on Friday. And it was rather fortuitous because it pulled back. I'll be looking to maybe get back in on that one. MIDU, this is the small cap or mid cap, I should say. I'm long that, been long that, and I'm staying long. So I still think mid caps have a good way to go. Roku, this is the second week I shorted the 62 puts. Again, it's essentially making sort of a bullish bet, and they expired worthless again, because it seems like 62 is holding. Tesla, I'm just interested in Tesla. I'm just kind of watching it here. It really broke down on Monday. They gapped up on Friday on some Rivian news. I don't understand why Tesla would have gapped up on news, news that a competitor's introducing new products into the market that are going to compete with them. But I guess eventually sanity took hold here and it sold off. So it's not, it's looking a little bit dire here. We're right at in an area where it needs to hold support, or it possibly could be coming down to this sort of 160 level, which I've shown here on the weekly chart. And if it loses this 160, there's no volume here to support this, so it really could drop significantly more from here. So Tesla, a bit of a volatile stock, but looking weak on the week. And that's it, everybody. That's what I'm looking at for next week. All right, so let's wrap things up here. Let's take a look at where we are right now with the various indexes. There you go, Dow, Qs, SPY, and IWM, support and resistance levels. Economic events, as I've been mentioning, here's the big one, CPI on Tuesday and PPI on Thursday. Of course, everybody's going to be wanting to see how the fight on inflation is going. We got a bit of an uptick in the last data, so we want to see if that was just an anomaly or if it's a trend that might be reversing in the wrong direction. So hopefully we'll see some cooling in that. And of course, we do have some earnings this week that are kind of interesting. Oracle, we do have a home builder, Lennar, and some consumer stocks like Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Williams-Sonoma, Dick's Sporting Goods, so that'll be kind of interesting. And then Adobe and Ulta after the market on Thursday. So that's it, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing you on a Monday morning. 8 o'clock, we always start our pre-market show. BBT community live on YouTube, taking you in through the pre-market, and then of course trading them open with our members on at 9:30 at the open. So take care, and we'll talk to you hopefully Monday morning. Bye for now.